Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And we love a happy family.
A happy, happy family.
Are we a happy family?
I hope we are.
Today we're taking a look at reviewing
Bamboo!
Bamboo, baby. Now, Bamboo is designed by Germán P. Millán and illustrated by Jonatan Cantero. It is also published by Devir Games, who provided this review copy for us.
In this game, you'll be building your happiness through becoming a great family that utilizes bamboo. You'll want to make sure you're the happiest at the end of the game, because if you are, you'll become victorious.
Will you achieve the goals of your house? Will you provide a balance? Will you make sure your family's fed? There's a lot of layers here.
Bamboo is an action selection game where you'll be using your bamboo sticks to take certain actions that will be guided towards helping you complete goals, helping you collect different spirits, and helping you place different items within your household to ultimately gain you happiness.
And of course, gotta get that coin.
Money, 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 money!
Now, by the end of the game, the player with the most happiness points will be the winner.
Well, with that quick overview out of the way, let's jump right into our review and talk about our comparables. Now, for those of you who don't know what comparables are, it's a way for us to describe to you and give you an example of a game that might offer a similar type feeling to what this game is offering, and help you make a decision on whether or not this game is for you.
Now, the one that came to me, the first one that came to my brain, so I'm gonna go with it, is Sagrada.
Sagrada.
So the reason the Sagrada came to me is the way that the house really works. Because basically you'll have goals in bamboo that you're trying to meet based on how your house is laid out with the points, with the various configurations. And it gave me a similar vibe to how you place your dice in the Sagrada field. With different values, different patterns, trying to meet the patterns in order to score the most points.
Right.
So that kind of correlation hit me right away, and it gave me that feel when I was playing. I'm like, oh yeah, it gives me the reminiscence of Sagrada.
My comparable is actually parks. So in parks, for example, you'll be collecting different resources, accomplishing different goals, and then taking different actions to provide you those different resources. But ultimately with parks, what you're trying to do is visit particular parks by gathering specific things, and you're also trying to complete those goals, which are needed you need to complete them by having specific resources. In Bamboo, you're going to be doing a similar thing where you're choosing what goals you want to collect, managing those goals and completing them by grabbing specific items from the board and placing them onto your own board so you can successfully score yourself points.
So very much of that resource to points or orientation of points with cards or various goals tiles that you have. Those are our two comparisons.
Now, on to our questions. Why might somebody want to check Bamboo out?
That's a great question. Well, it is a love letter to action selection. There's many actions you can take throughout this game, and they don't only come into play during the main action phase. In the beginning, when you get the gift, you can take an action. At the end, you can utilize the spirits of the force to take various actions. But generally, there's 4 or 5 different actions you can take, or 4 actions, one being a wild. That can really strategize your ways around scoring the most happiness, and they all connect into one way or another. And if you enjoy games where you have to choose the right action at the right time, this game may be for you.
So along with tight action selections, there's also a tight resource management piece that goes alongside this game. So if that's something that you're keen on, Bamboo is definitely something worth checking out.
The coins.
You want to make sure, you want to make sure you have exactly the right amount of resources. Well, not exactly, the more the merrier kind of thing. But it's hard to get resources because you are balancing that act of, do I take coins, do I take food, do I actually just place something into my building, and that costs food, or sorry, that costs coins. And then at the end of the season, you want to make sure that you can feed all of your family.
It does cost food, because once you place it, it's going to be hungry.
Yeah, that is true.
So there's a lot of layers to really think about.
So with those two mechanics really ingrained into this game, it does offer that satisfying feeling of actually completing all of these things. You have the instant gratification of completing the goals that you've grabbed, and then you have the gratification at the end of the game, knowing that you've perfectly balanced your board so that A 0 is 0.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, or 6 is 6.
Well, I guess like they equal
The difference
each other.
is 0.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think the last thing I'll add too is if you enjoy games that really flow well together, everything in this game is intentional and it makes sense with each other and it connects in a thematic way too. So you really feel immersed in the world of Bamboo and for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
And at the end, you're trying to score the most happiness points.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to score happiness? I think all victory points should be abolished and should be called happiness points from now on.
No, this is very thematic.
I just want happiness points in all my games now.
No, this is very thematic. I think like what another point to what Ilya is trying to say is that because this game flows so well, it is a relatively easy game to teach. So once you have that game action figured out and you kind of just play through it, it's pretty simple to play through the rest of the rounds.
True.
It's just organizing your thoughts into how you should be using your actions and what resources maybe you should be collecting.
Exactly. But with that said, why shouldn't you check out Bamboo? What's a reason you might not like it?
Yeah, so I think I was kind of getting into this when I was talking about how the game flow works and how it's easy to pick up on. The one thing I'll say about Bamboo in particular is that the decisions you have to make are very tight, but because they're very tight, you have a lot of options that you can have. And sometimes it can be very overwhelming for somebody, and then you get stuck in this like space where you're like, oh, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do this? And then you can kind of kick yourself when you've already selected an action and be like, oh no, I should have done the other thing. So it can be a little bit overwhelming to make those decisions and then also provide that, again, like kickback where it feels bad.
Well, I think even, and to build on top of that, it's not even the amount of decisions, it's also you have to think about the future as well, because all of a sudden you're using one of your bamboo sticks. Which one of these 4 are you going to take? Which ones helps your further strategy? You have to kind of balance your forward thinking with current thinking and trying to like have everything in mind and balance it all, because all of a sudden you buy a towel and you haven't planned the food for it. There's just a lot of layers that you have to consider at the same time, which if you get overwhelmed with those types of decisions, it could be a longer game.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think like just to quickly touch on it is the games are very close when from what we've experienced. So having those decisions and having games that are really close is very important to make those right decisions. And that can often provide a sour taste in your mouth. Exactly. So it might not be a game worth checking out for you.
Now the last point I'll mention here as well, and I don't like this point. I'll preface it in a nutshell right away, but if you see this game, it is a very cute, welcoming type of game, and I can see people picking this up without really knowing much about it, but it's a fairly complex game. So if somebody does not play board games too much and you see Bamboo, it might be a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of different mechanics, there's a lot of layers in this game, and it's definitely not an introductory board game.
No.
Although the rulebook is fairly intuitive, once you get into it, it's easier to teach, but I will caution this is a complex game.
Yeah, there seems to be a misconception, I think, along the lines of what you're getting at with art being a direct correlation to the difficulty of the game. And I think that, like you said, is it does need to be broken. That stigma
break the stigma.
Broken. But it's true. This game is deceivingly heavy, and it even says on the box that it's about a 90-minute game. That is the only real indication that this game is not light. So, yeah, just a caution on the complexity of Bamboo.
And last but certainly not least, there is a lot of player interaction in this game.
Yes.
You could be planning to get something, Tyler's going to take it this turn. You have to then, again, kind of going back to the decision space, you have to re-adapt and do all that. So it's a lot of adaptability. If you really have a one kind of stream mind and you really want to accomplish your goals through your own means, this may not be the game for you, because it will be a game where you have to consistently adapt and to the other player's decision, because all of them will affect you. Their bamboo, the incense they put in different temples, every single action has a player correlation to it.
Yeah, it's this interesting balance between these tight decisions that you have to make, this forward thinking like Ilya was saying, but also like just allowing the board to kind of give you what you need instead of expecting it to be there when you go to take your turn. I think that's very important, and it's an unintentional player interaction, of course. Like, nobody is intentionally taking these things away from you, but just how the game works is there's a lot of main board ongoings, so it does unintentionally create that player interaction, and you have to be willing to adapt to that.
Exactly. But overall, what do we think? What are our key points for this game?
Yeah, I think that this game is one of those games that kind of just like checks the boxes for all of us, or for both of us. Yeah.
There are so many of us. So many.
But I think it checks the box for both of us, and we really enjoyed our experience with this game. Really, really liked the tight resource management, well, all the things that we said and reasons why you should check it out.
I foresee this being a game that gets back to our table again and again, simply because of the facts that you just said. It really satisfies all the things we love in board games. I will say it was really hard coming up with reasons not to check it out, because I really had to put myself out and be like, what would somebody who does not enjoy this think? Because generally this is a game that I really enjoy and I really connect to.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally really enjoyed this game. I definitely know that there are folks out there that won't, and this is why we do the reviews the way we do them, is we want to give you insight into why you might like them, why you might not like them. The other thing that I want to mention about this game is the inclusivity of it, which is also just a high benefit for us in general, because we're always looking for opportunities or games that make us feel more represented in the board game community. And this does this simple act of just putting it on the player board. Like, it goes a long way. Yeah, it goes a long way to be inclusive, and it's not hard to do. It's something easy to implement.
And there's pandas.
Yeah, it's just a great feeling. So I think like that's another reason why we really appreciate this game. Yeah.
When seeing yourself represented in the game is just such an incredible feeling, and I want to give a huge kudos to the team here for putting this together, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, now I want to play with this board, and we had to like fight for it every single time.
Yeah, that's true. We just play pandas in the gay couple, so.
Because pandas could also be a gay couple. We don't know.
We don't know.
But with that said, that Bamboo is fantastic. We really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun action sequence selection. There's a lot of tight decision making. And in general, it'll leave your brain crunchy with its beautiful, stunning presence on your table.
Yeah, there's a lot of components, so it is a little bit cumbersome to get to the table, but that's not a problem, because once you get it to the table, it's easy to play. Also, it's relatively easy to teach.
The box is filled to the brim.
Yeah,
we had to take out the rule books that were not English to make everything fit, because it is a tight fit, and I love to see that, because boxes with limited to no air is very good for our shelf space.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if this is a game that you're going to end up checking out, let us know down in the comments below. What sold it for you? Why is this a game that you want to play?
Or do you have questions about Bamboo? Is there something that you're curious about, want to pick our thoughts on? We're always happy to share more in the comments down below, and even share more of our opinions.
Exactly. And of course, if you like this video, please give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button.
But what about the question of the day?
We can ask it in a second.
Oh.
Because if you're new here, we'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. But I guess for the question of the day, hit them with a good one.
If you could only have one plant type in your household, what would it be?
Well, I think we have one plant, Vera, which is the classic name for an aloe vera plant.
Good old Vera.
And she's blossoming like none other, and she actually just decided that she wanted to have another friend in our pot. So that's what I would be picking.
Aloe vera?
Yeah.
Everywhere. I like that. I think I would pick a Venus flytrap, because then you can have many of them, and then you'd never, it would just be fun.
That's spooky.
You can feed it little flies. In the summer, you can feed it mosquitoes that bite you. Be like, eat that, mosquito.
Eat that.
So, and it'd be a fun household.
That's true.
Well, let us know your plan down below, and we really appreciate you watching our review video.
If you're interested in learning how to play Bamboo, we've released a how to play video that you can find right there, maybe.
Click it right here.
Yeah.
Well, see you later, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.